So hi everyone, it's Paul Stevens here from Short Term Rentals here at the VRMA International Conference in Phoenix, and I'm joined here by Simon Lehmann. Simon, please just introduce yourself and AJL Atelier.
Absolutely, thank you very much. It's good to be here. I'm Simon Lehmann, co-founder and CEO of AJL Atelier. We're a boutique consultancy firm within the short-term rental space. We do research, consulting of property managers, technology companies, and we do mergers and acquisition, mostly on the sales side within the industry.
Thank you, Simon. Could you just let me know your impressions of the event this year? You've been to many VRMA conferences. How have you found the event this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been to very many, and last year I didn't come, so that was actually quite interesting to see. Like I had a 1-year break and being back here today. I have to be perfectly honest to your audience. I did not see a single track, so I've spent 3 days in the exhibition hall, having back-to-back meetings. So for us, it's been extremely productive. What is the sense I'm taking away from here? So, I think we've seen a shrinking number of attendants, which makes many people to think what's going on here. What's the number of properties that actually VRMA represents as an association, and why are people not coming? So, and why the numbers are down so substantially? I think there's many different reasons. Also, location. Phoenix is not like Orlando or other destinations, and next year they're going back to Vegas. So it's going to be interesting to see. In terms of key takeaways, so I've spoke mostly to technology vendors the last 3 days and not actually to property management companies. I had a few as well conversations. We're definitely seeing a softening market. We've seen the data. Europe has held up a lot stronger than the US. So I think there's a lot of sense of uncertainty in here as well. Needless to say that regulation is a big topic still to go, and I think people are getting back more nervous about it. So I think for me, what is a key takeaway is that we need to pick up a notch on still professionalizing this industry. We have a lot of work to do. And one of the things that I've talked a lot about in the last 3 days is accreditation and bringing standards into the conversation. And I think we need to really get onto that.
Thank you for that, Simon. So you've talked there about regulation being one of these. I'll probably start with the harder question on the challenges rather than the opportunities. What do you see maybe as being the biggest challenges for the industry in the year ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been in the industry for 20 years, so I've seen many cycles, and I've seen the business, I've seen the evolution of vacation rental industry. I think for next year, people are pretty nervous, so we're seeing a lot of M&A activity. Is 25 going to be stronger post the election year, especially in the US? It's going to be interesting to see. I think regulation is something that is in everybody's minds right now. And interesting to see is how is the split between professionally and unprofessionally managed inventories, and is that going to move? And I think for the professional market, it's a massive opportunity now because supply was flooded by people who made real estate investments on the back of the demand. If the demand softens and cap rates are coming down, you might see more assets being flipped into professionally managed or actually going out of the market. So it could be that supply is going to come down, which will help the market to recover in terms of ADR and occupancy. And I think that's something we definitely need to watch.
And then on the other hand, what do you see? You sort of hinted at a few things there, but what do you see as being the key opportunities in the year ahead for this industry to keep evolving, keep professionalizing?
Yeah, I mean, that's in a nutshell, that's what it's all about. It's about professionalizing. We need to, we remember we're in the trust business. Scaling trust is challenging. We're in a low asset-based business, and relationship to homeowners is going to be key more than ever. And that means we need to get more transparent with our homeowners so they don't think that we're taking their money. And I think that's where we need to be. So we need to do a lot more on securing our supply, relationships, be transparent, and that's a massive opportunity because if you build relations and can go through tougher years, it will help you to sustain your business, basically.
And I mean, we've had Airbnb's winter release today. We've had Expedia revealing its Unpacked 2025. I know Guesty have been talking about trends for 2025 already. If you had to offer up a couple of early predictions, I don't think it's ever too early, for the industry, maybe just a couple, what would you be saying right now?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I haven't really had the time to even think about it because normally we do our predictions a bit later in the year. This year is not over yet. We have, and I think that's very hard to say. I mean, we have a presidential election in the United States which can have major impact. We've just seen a massive hurricane again in Florida, which has devastated. So we have still a lot of challenges right now. We need to wrap our heads around global warming. We've seen numbers in Europe where, the southern markets are losing out, the northern markets are winning. So we see a lot of things, and that's definitely going to be a trend that continues. So how do we deal with natural disaster based on global warming? So I think that's something I would definitely put on top of mind, which is going to be a trend, how we react to that as well. In terms of supply and demand and ADRs and occupancy and stuff like that, I don't want to talk about right now. It's still too early. And number three, which I think is also a big takeaway that I've forgotten to mention in terms of trends, people need to wrap their heads around, in our industry, but also outside, regardless where, that AI is going to change our lives. And I'm not saying that because it's a buzzword, AI and whatever. I've had some really interesting conversations here with people who are developing incredible technology, just not the classical tech provider here, but outside people who come here with the STR industry. And I can give you so many examples out there that are going to be radically changed. And I think that's something which is probably the absolute biggest trend we need to deal with. And it's not a tech frenzy or a bit of an internet bubble. This is going to change lives. If you think about it as an example, there is 17,000 call centers out there globally. So think about this, and they're not going to exist in the future. So, the impact this will have on different, you're going out to the streets here in Phoenix, there are self-driving car taxis out there, Waymo, right? I mean, that's only the start, but it's happening, and you need to wrap your head around how do you adopt it, think about it, what can it do to you, and I think that's going to be the single biggest trends next to the macroeconomical issues we need to deal with, presidential election and global warming as well.
And finally, we were talking just off air that you've got a very busy schedule ahead of you. You're also talking at our short-term rental summit. What are your immediate plans coming up in the industry?
My immediate plans in terms of the business, we definitely want to increase our M&A activities. So there's a lot of transactions happening on the technology side. We do a lot of work on the research and consulting side. People need help now, and so that's something we need to focus on. And at the same time, we want to share our knowledge and passion. That's why I'm going to Australia now, and then I'm going to the DARM conference, coming to London as well. Just been to Medellin, which is an interesting market as well. So there's a lot of things we need to focus on, and we continue to help professionalize this industry.
Thank you, Simon.